Wow, how inspiring. Joining me now is political strategist and CEO of Citizens Alliance, Cliff Maloney, and California State Representative Carl DeMaio. Hey, you two. Cliff, you first. Democrats won in blue states and districts. The biased press is calling it a blue wave. Is that fact or fiction?
No, I think it's fiction. Look, these are blue states, right? I mean, and you've got Mamdani here. It's very, very interesting that he's calling Trump a tyrant. And at the same time, he's quoting Eugene Debs, the Socialist Party founder. I mean, you can't put all these things together. The guy just doesn't make any sense. But look, it was not a good night for Republicans, but it wasn't supposed to be. You know, these were blue states. You've got New York City where they're trying to put this coalition together of former governor, a Democrat, and Andrew Cuomo, with a Republican to try to take out a socialist. To me, last night means one thing. New York City is in deep trouble if they don't turn it around.
Yes, it is. And actually, California is already there. California voting in favor of Prop 50, Governor Gavin Newsom's illegal gerrymandering scheme. Carl, does voting for illegal maps make them legal in California? And will these maps be challenged in court, do you think?
Well, they are being challenged in court. This morning, we filed a lawsuit with the federal court system because we don't have any faith that the liberal justices of the California Supreme Court are going to do anything. They're not they're lapdogs, but it's still a Hail Mary pass. I disagree with the notion that it was not a bad night or a blue wave. It was a blue wave, and here's why. Republicans didn't show up. Trump was not at the top of the ballot. And so I have a warning for Republicans across the country. Do not get complacent. You need to rise up. You need to fight, take to the streets, get to the polls, because if Republicans lose in the midterm, and right now these numbers from last night in blue and purple states are awful for Republicans. If Democrats take the House majority, it is over for President Trump in terms of his agenda. So we have 12 months to get ready. Hope this is a wake-up call.
Yeah, I mentioned that in the preamble as well, that the Republicans have, you know, and especially in states like Virginia, they reverted back to their, you know, find the nearest rear end of a Democrat butt cheek to plant their lips on. And that's kind of what has governed the Republican Party for all of these years, which has led to the rise of Trump, who took over their party because they were rudderless. They went back to that. And so I think your point is well taken there. Cliff, in places like Virginia, GOP candidates ran away from America First principles and President Trump. So it was the same old surrender caucus GOP, as I was just alluding to, that really inspires nobody. And they were up against a bloodthirsty, rabid Democrat voter base, a base that elected a guy who wanted his political opponents and their children dead. The GOP couldn't even beat that. Didn't the GOP prove that they are nothing without America First principles and a movement inside their party?
Yeah, and look, I agree with that. And I think that the one thing we learned in 2024 is the American people are desperate for authenticity. They want to be able to connect with somebody. They want someone that will talk about the issues that they care about. And you're exactly right. That's not the same on the Democrat side, right? There's a certain section or sector of the GOP base that is America First. And if you don't talk to them, if you don't engage with them, if you don't go forth with a strong America First message, you're not going to activate them. And I do agree with Carl on some of those points that, look, Trump wasn't on the ballot. He's not going to be on the ballot again. And so I think it's up to us in the America First movement to find candidates that are going to inspire, that are going to get people excited, because when we don't, our voters don't show up.
True enough. And as it appears the Democrats shut down the government, harming our people for political gain, even leftists like Jake Tapper over at CNN, Carl, they can't deny the government shutdown is all on the Democrats.
Democrats are the ones that are not voting to fund the government. Now, I understand why they're doing so. They're doing so because of health care, and they want to fight, and they want Republicans to negotiate, et cetera, et cetera. The messaging by Democrats around this shutdown has been sharper than I've seen Democrats on any issue in a long time. They have convinced voters, Democratic voters and independent voters, that it's the Republicans' fault. And just on the numbers, that might not be actually accurate.
Well, Carl, and then on the flip side, the GOP hasn't done much with the shutdown fight and messaging at all. They've done little to show the dangers of a government with too much power and a population over-reliant on failed government. If the government does reopen soon, did the GOP just waste a golden, teachable moment for the country?
Absolutely. Democrats are messaging. Republicans basically are going to cocktail parties. The establishment is celebrating, oh, look, we're in power. No, friends, you're going to lose power if you don't deliver. And that's why we have to be messaging to middle America. And we have to show how the system is corrupt, that it hurts them. It's at their expense that these special interests. Why are Democrats fighting? They're fighting to get illegal immigrants goodies at taxpayer expense and billionaires subsidies from the Green New Deal, Green New Steel. This is what the Democrats are fighting for, and their messaging is activating their base. That's why in this upcoming midterm in California, I'm fighting to get the California Voter ID Initiative put on the ballot, because that's the best thing approximating Trump to draw out voters, but it's also what we need to do to restore the integrity of elections and fairness and public trust. And so I want more Republicans. Offer bold, audacious ideas, message effectively to the middle, because you're going to lose your rear election.
Just go with American ideas. Why don't you try being Americans? It works, with Americans. Cliff Maloney, Carl DeMaio, thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate the discussion.